All right, welcome in. Cube Show Podcast, college football podcast with a little bit of March Madness. So what are we going to get into today? Not your brackets. We're going to talk running backs today. What else would we talk about in March? I don't know how your bracket looks. I think mine looks okay, but I really don't care because I want to talk some football with you. That's what we do each and every week, and we're brought to you by Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious. You guys know that we have them. We store them. We snack on them. We keep them here. There they are, Wickles Pickles. Always in the house. We love them. We appreciate them sponsoring us. Go to Wickles Pickles Instagram right now. You'll see the March Madness giveaway that you have a chance to enter. You can win big right there from Wickles Pickles. So like I said, we're going to talk running backs today. Last week, we did 5 offensive linemen coming into the SEC that you need to know. Some of the bigger name guys from bigger programs, you already know about those transfers, what they're going to be able to do, what they're capable of. There's some guys on this list that I'd be willing to bet you have not watched play football. Maybe some you've even heard of because of numbers they've put up or highlights that you've seen, but you don't know all about their game because you haven't seen a lot of them. They played at lower levels of football, and so we're going to talk about them today. So let's get to the 5 running backs coming into the SEC that you need to know. We'll start out with number 5. Drin Washington's coming to Alabama from ULL. Let's take a quick look at Drin Washington. I'm a big fan of Drin Washington out of ULL, and for a couple of different reasons. He is shifty. He's got good twitch. He's got good quickness, but I just love a back that understands extra movement's not necessary. And I think he has a little bit of an extra gear. You'll see the pull-away speed right there from the DBs, but you'll just take a little split zone play, backside defenders not blocked, up north, and then let's get to the end zone. It's not look around. It's not dance. Let's not find the sideline. Let's go north-south and get 6. Has the ability to do that. I like his shiftiness. I like his ability to make people miss, but you see that at the beginning. At the end of the day, you got to get to the end zone. This young man knows how to do it. Also, take a look at the second clip that we have with Dre'Lynn Washington, running back from ULL transferring to Alabama. You almost don't even know where he is on this play. And what I like about it most is just an understanding that this thing's kind of blown up early. And once again, we'll split zone play, not going to come around. It's not going to be there. And tight end doesn't get over in time. What are you going to do? You got to cut that thing back. So wait for it. It's not there initially. Cut back and then make another cut to be able to find space. It's just an excellent run, an excellent vision, an excellent awareness of where a play is breaking down early and where you may need to be able to go. But I go back to kind of what Kalen DeBoer and that offense want to do at Alabama. And that is have someone who can act as this hammer. You go back to when they were at Fresno State and had a kid named Ronnie Rivers who just ran angry. I mean, he got downhill and he was looking for contact before he was looking for points. You go back to the Washington playoff run at the end of the season, you could make the argument Dylan Johnson, Mississippi State transfer, who was that type of a back, was their most important player. So I think that this group is looking for a back who can act this way, who can bring this. And I think Dre'Lynn brings it with a little bit of pull-away ability. Still has the ability to go get you longer touchdowns and get you explosive plays while he can make some people miss in space if he has to. So you get a little bit of the best of both worlds with this young man. So you see the ability this young man has, 5'9", 224. He doesn't look 224 on film, doesn't look 224 with the way that he runs. 73 carries, 478 yards, 5 touchdowns. He caught 6 balls for 107 yards and a touchdown last year. They ran about 3 backs there in Lafayette last year. So he didn't get the bulk of the work, which is fine. It's okay. I've seen enough with what he did get to know that he can handle it. And I don't think he's going to have to be the only back to come in and make things happen at Alabama. But as I said before, I do think he offers a little bit more of a downhill dynamic that some of the backs either weren't as explosive with, didn't do it as fast, or just weren't as anxious to do it as this young man will be. I think he's going to help Alabama this year. I think it's a part of the offense that Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Grubb want. They're going to look for, and he can bring that to you. If it needs to be short yardage and it's not make a guy miss, put your head down, get 3 yards, he'll do it. If he can get into the open field, make a guy miss, and take it to the house, he has that ability also. He's pretty good in pass protection. He doesn't shy away from it. I'm not going to say it's a strength of his game, but he's not a liability. He's not somebody who's not afraid of contact. You don't see this kid run out of bounds very much either. So he's not looking to get out of anything as far as pass pro or blocking or anything of that nature. And obviously he understands a shared workload, which to me says he's probably a pretty good teammate. Not a guy that's going to go in there and cry and moan about the fact that he's not getting every single carry. You got a chance to go to Alabama, you take that. So I think he's got good speed, Breakaway speed, pretty good. I'm not going to say he is necessarily just a breakaway runner like an Ontario McCaleb or a Trendon Holiday, but I do think he's a guy that once he gets to the open field, you're not going to see a lot of guys walk him down. And he's got the power to be able to get to the open field. So I think he's a little bit of a do-it-all back. I was really surprised when I went and looked up that he was 224 when I watched him run, because I would not have guessed that he was that heavy. He does not run that heavy, but he's got that lower center of gravity. He's kind of built low to the ground. He runs with his pads over his shoulders just a little bit. Love the way he finishes runs. I think he's going to be a nice complement to whatever else Alabama ends up having in the backfield, and obviously what they're going to have through the passing game with guys like Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard coming back. All right, if you guys are like me, trying to get back into the hobby, I got to tell you about Fanatics Live and then my friends over at Pizza Pulse on Fanatics Live. Get your phone. It's simple. Go get the Fanatics Live app right there. You're going to click it. It's going to come up. You're going to have multiple options to be able to get into card breaks. You say, well, what is a card break? That is, some of these newer boxes of cards are going to contain autographs, memorabilia items, whether it's pieces of jerseys, pieces of bats, pieces of gloves, game used material. You're not going to be able to just go get those for $50, $60. You're talking about a couple hundred, couple $1,000s to get these boxes. And maybe you just want to go for one player, one team. Well, you can buy into these boxes. They're going to open them for you. And then you're going to be able to see some of the things that you want. And you don't have to spend all the money to get all the stuff that maybe you don't want. A lot of different options right there at Fanatics Live. They're all breaking right this very second. And you can go over and see my guys at Pizza Pulls. I'm there every Tuesday, usually breaking college football, but also going to break some NFL. They've got the NFL Topps Chrome. They've also got Topps Finest in, Topps Chrome Sapphire. You just go over there to Pizza Pulls right now and check me out every Tuesday. But Fanatics Live is where you need to be. And I got a couple college football hits that have come down recently. The geometric refractor Ryan Williams to 25 right there. Pretty cool for the Alabama receiver. The Notre Dame safety Xavier Watt autograph on card to 100 right there for the Bowman U Best. And then finally from USC, 10 out of 15, the Quentin Joyner geometric auto, another good hit. So these are the kind of things that you can get there at Fanatics Live. If you are looking for golf, Prism has the new Live golf cards that are out. Those things are hot right now. If you're looking for Pokemon, they even got Garbage Pail Kids cards that are coming back out again. I didn't know anybody was really into those, but they're back and you can get them. They're real. Disney cards, basketball. The new Prism is out with basketball right now. The McDonald's All-American set that's out from Topps is really cool. Fanatics Live has all of these. You can go check all those out. And you can even get into the baseball. The Top Series 1 is out now. There's a lot to get into, a lot to chase, and you can do it all at Fanatics Live, and then go search my friends at Pizza Pulls. You'll see the link at the bottom right here in our bio. You click that, sign up through Pizza Pulls through that link. You get $25 for free. So go ahead and get into a break today on us. Also, we'll go to Dante Dowdell out of Nebraska, who's going to be transferring into Kentucky. Now, we think about Mark Stoops' coach football teams. We think about one thing and one thing only, and that's usually tough. It's what they are. Let's take a quick look at Dante Dowdell, what he's going to be able to bring to this Kentucky offense. And one thing you think about with Kentucky is physicality. That's a Mark Stoops football team. They needed a back that had a little bit more of that. You kind of got that 1-2 punch right now with a back that can sort of give you the home runs, that can take it to the house. Well, Dowdell is going to be a little bit of a different kind of guy. I mean, you talk about a north-south runner. There's not a lot special about this clip that I pulled. It's a great double team backside by the right guard, right tackle, but watch him just get north and south. There's literally no east-west movement whatsoever. He just says, hey, safety, I'm coming at you. Can you withstand it? Poof. Now, it's a good job by the safety getting him to the ground, but I love a back that just knows he's got one track to go to the end zone, and by God, he's going to take it. It just does not matter. This young man is a hammer and has a little bit more agility than you might think, but offers you a little bit of versatility, as we'll see him now lined up at fullback, and you'll see him take a little dive play right there up the gut. So understand short yardage situations. I'm going to be okay with that. I can take a quick handoff and just get north and south, accept contact early, not going to be a problem for him. So a little versatility that you like see, line up in different places, do different things. I've seen him act as a lead blocker multiple times. I think he can handle that. And then finally, I will show you just a little bit of agility. So it's not just north and south. As you'll see here, again, Dante Dowdell, a little hits to the right, a little hit the brakes, come back and forth. The hurdle. And he's going to almost find his way into the end zone. So the ability to jump, the ability to go east and west, make that big cut early. He's not going to be as twitchy and quick, and he's not going to be able to give you shifty, multi-directional movement on one run like some of the other guys we've mentioned, but he's looser than you might think. But at the end of the day, if Kentucky needs to get downhill and they need to pick up a yard or two, I think Dante Dowdell is going to be a great add for somebody that can do that for this offense. Bush Hammon's going to love this guy in duo and inside zone plays, because if he needs to put his head down and go get a couple, he's going to be able to get that done. This has been needed in Lexington, bottom line. They thought Chip Trayanum was going to be this guy coming in from Ohio State, had the injury, wasn't able to really get it done. So you had to kind of go to a couple other different characters. And I don't think it's just needed because you've got Jamarion Wilcox, who's going to be your home run hitter, your explosive back. So I don't think Dowdell has to come in and carry the ball 40, 35 times a game, anything like that. He can be a nice complement, and he can be a nice addition. You saw him line up and take a little belly play there at fullback. I've seen him act as a lead blocker on a couple toss plays, some quarterback runs. So he can be someone who does that and doesn't shy away from it. So you basically get a glorified football that has enough wiggle to act as a running back, but also somebody who has the understanding of, hey, it's 3rd and 2. We don't need you to bounce this outside. We don't need this to be a race to the sideline. Put your head down and get 3 yards. And this young man understands that, can do that, but has just enough wiggle and just enough movement to be able to make some guys miss in space and pick up some extra yards when those opportunities do present themselves. I think he's kind of going to be a hard hat guy for Kentucky. You'll probably see him do a couple of different things, carry the ball in a couple of different ways, but it's not even about the style of runner that he is. I think this mentality has been needed back in Lexington for a couple of years now. I think Coach Stoops wants guys that understand, hey, you guys have heard me the way that I described Kentucky 4, 5, 7 years ago. They might not have been the most talented team. They might not have been the fastest team. May not have been the most skilled team, but they were absolutely the team that I would least like to face in an alley fight. That's just what they were. And I think Stoops wants to get back to that. And I think this personality that you're bringing in helps with that just a little bit. He's that type of football player. So I think you get a little bit of wiggle in 6'2", 225-pound frame that when it all comes down to it, he needs to get north and south. He's going to do it. 12 rushing touchdowns last year on 143 carries for 614 yards. You know, he kind of understood near the goal line that was his job. That's who he was. He was going to get those short yardage plays, and he thrived with it. So I think it's a great addition for Kentucky. If we were just going by the most talented backs here, I don't think Dante Dowdell's on this list. But when I foresee the role that he may have and what he may mean to this team and what they're going to complement him with, I think he's one of the 5 most important additions at running back to any SEC team this year. So there will be some context that's missed in this list, and people are going to say, oh, 1 through 5, whatever. But I'm just talking about the 5 best gets for the programs that got them and then what those players are. Dante Dowdell deserves to be on that list. Next would be Fluff Bothwell from South Alabama heading to Mississippi State. 5'10", 219. Let's take a look at quickly what he's going to be able to do for the Bulldogs. At 5'10", 219, good stature, good physicality, good burst. Runs low to the ground. You'll notice on the couple clips I pulled for you that pad level is low. The reason I pulled this first one, though, is an understanding of riding your blocks, pressing the line of scrimmage. Just watch how long he waits until he makes that first cut. He gets right on the rear end of that guard, and then bam, at the last second, puts that foot in the ground and goes. That stresses the linebackers a lot, and it gives you the ability to get yards when your offensive line might not always be right, or it forces the linebackers a lot of times to guess wrong and not be able to jump plays and get in front of you and cut you off when you're trying to go get yards. It's one of the real things that I like about his game. He's got good physicality. He's got good open field agility, but it's riding your blocks and staying in there. It's one of the things you go last year. Dylan Sampson at Tennessee was the master of it, one of the best I've ever seen, and just would wait and go till he got right behind that guard or tackle and then bam, make that cut. And it makes the defense wrong a lot. It's one of the things Bothwell, I think, has a great ability to do. Another thing that's going to help out with in Jeff Lebby's offense is giving Blake Shapen the ability to do some things in play action. You force those linebackers or even safeties or rovers, whatever they are, nickels, to sort of wait to find out if you actually have the football or you're going to make a cut or you're running the ball or that ball's coming out or not coming out on an RPO. That stresses the different level, a different portion of the defense at the same time. So Bothwell real good with that. And then, too, you'll just see the ability to make some cuts, get into the open field, and has that burst. This time you'll see penetration from the linebacker coming through and sees it early, so goes ahead and makes the cut, and there's the open field ability to make guys miss. He's got good power. He's got good agility. You can see him right there in the open field, but watch the vision. He sees that thing right away, and he's gone. He's backside. So not a lot of wasted time, not a lot of wasted movement with Fluff Bothwell from South Alabama. So 111 carries, 832 yards, 13 touchdowns last year. He did catch 13 balls also, so he can help you out of the backfield. I like his build. He's got good burst, good quickness. I do think at times he runs into his offensive lineman just a little bit too much, like maybe gets a little bit stubborn with this play supposed to go right here, and so I'm going to take it there, and that's just sort of where it's going to be. I'd like to see him get away from that just a little bit. But at the end of the day, I think he's got some explosive capability that this offense can utilize and take advantage of. Think what they're going to do. They're going to spread you out. They're going to push the ball down the field. They're going to go fast. So he's going to face some defenses that are worn out. He's going to face some lighter boxes. He's got the explosive capability with a little bit of physicality to be able to give you big-time plays when you're doing that. And then catching the ball out of the backfield, something he's going to be able to help with that Jeff Lebby can utilize also. Big enough to act as a little bit of a lead blocker if they did want to run shaping a couple of times on some different QB runs just to keep the defense guessing. I think he can add some of that. But he's got good twitch, good movement, can make you miss in the open field, good enough speed to be able to run away from you. I think he's an all-around package. Is he as strong as some of the stronger backs in the league? No. Is he as fast as the fastest backs in the league? No. But I think he gives you B pluses across the board really with what he's able to do. There are a couple of plays where it feels like he should be able to bounce out and get out of. And like I said, a little bit stubborn with where that thing was supposed to hit. Maybe he doesn't see it as early as you want him to. But most of the time when he gets an idea of how the play is going to go early on and he makes his decisions quickly, he can make those cuts, make those moves. He can get into the open field, and he can be a guy that provides you explosive plays. So I think Fluff Bothwell, a great pickup for State. And in that scheme with how they operate, it's very similar to what they ran last year, just from a formation standpoint and the actual play calls and how the run plays are going to look. I think he's got a chance to thrive. Next would be, this would be kind of like my number 2, I guess, get at running back. And it's going to be South Carolina, the Gamecocks. Rashul Faison, coming from Utah State to South Carolina. Give you a quick look at what Faison's going to be offered for the Gamecocks. So Rashul Faison, 5'11", 200 pounds, really does a nice job as an upright runner when he gets near contact, getting his pad level down. First thing I like about him is when he needs to get north and south, he knows how to do it. However, has that elusiveness in the open field, the ability to dance a little bit, but look at the power that he finishes the run with. You have to love that. And he's kind of got a little bit of that Le'Veon Bell, Kerryon Johnson sort of, I'm going to wait and see where this thing's going, and then bam, step on the gas and go. Physicality's not a problem, not a concern for him. You see safety had a chance to make a play in the open field. He's going to be able to make him miss. But the ability to understand, if you're going to be patient and you're going to take your time, you have to know when to get north and south. And Rashul Faison absolutely knows that. And he's explosive when he gets into the open field, has good speed, has really nice twitch. He makes his cuts fast. He's deliberate with his cuts, and understands that I can be patient, but also got to know when to go. You'll see second clip just on the zone play, flow, and then cut all the way back as he understands those linebackers overplaying it a little bit. There's the open field ability to make somebody miss. But see how he's a little patient. He reads that first block, sees that penetration come from the front side, and he's going to get north and south and then cut it backside. So once again, that ability to see things early, have enough patience, understanding of what the play is going to look like and how it's going to develop. You're going to get a lot of inside zone at South Carolina. It's going to look a lot like this. You're going to get a lot of gap scheme plays where you got to wait a little bit for that guard to go ahead and pull out, or if he doesn't pull out fast enough, you might have to get north-south a little bit quicker. Plays are going to hit in different spots. He has an innate ability to understand when a play's ready to go and then step on the gas and be able to get there. So a little bit different from some of the other running backs that we'll talk about here, as he does that, have that ability behind the line of scrimmage to sort of wait, and then go. But he's got the power to be able to come at you, and he's got the twitch to be able to make you miss at the same time. So 5'11", 200. I would have thought that he was more like 6'1". When he is upright in his stance, he just looks like a load. He looks really tall and runs kind of has a little bit of that when he starts out a run, a little bit of that Eddie George in him where it's kind of like that upright runner. But then he gets into a little bit of that, what we discussed there, the Le'Veon Bell mode of patient, that Kerryon Johnson kind of wait, and then go. And that's fine as long as you know when to go. It's the guys that wait and dance too much, and they're just doing it to avoid contact. Rashul Faison's not doing that. You saw a couple plays there where he's not going to run out of bounds. He gets that ball into the right hand, and he's going to come get contact, stay in bounds. He's not someone who's going to shy away from it. I do not love him in pass protection. And it's not that he's not afraid of the contact. He's just someone who doesn't, you can tell he doesn't take a ton of pride in it. It's not something he really enjoys. Not that any running back really enjoys it, or very few actually really enjoy it. But I think he's somebody who, when it comes down to it, he's got to put more technique fundamentals into getting it exactly right, not just throwing a shoulder on a guy and thinking that's the end, and then he ends up going and getting pressure on the quarterback. Another thing that you kind of see with him a little bit is he's got that patience and he's got that burst, physical pad level. He likes that once he does get going, that pad level kind of drops, and he understands that he's going to deliver a blow to the most of the defenders that he kind of has. Similar to some of the pass pro issues, I'd like to see him carry out his fakes just a little bit better. When it's play action, he kind of comes up there to like he's going to take the ball, and then he's just like, that's it. He's done. And you don't want to see that with your back, because that's going to give other guys a beat on where the ball's headed a little bit earlier than you should. So those are just a couple of things that you see from him. But he's got massive twitch. He's a guy that if he needs to make you miss, he needs to put that foot in the ground, go left, right. He's able to do that. And the other thing that I really like about Rashul Faison, coming from Utah State to South Carolina, he gets to full speed in about one step. And that's you almost have to have that when you run with patience and you kind of dance a little bit the way that he does. But when he decides to go, it's on. It doesn't take him 3-4 long strides to be able to get going. Doesn't take him a long time to all of a sudden get into full speed. Like, he decides that he's going to step on the gas, and he is at full speed. It's one of the things I really like about his game. And South Carolina is going to run a lot inside zone. And so he can kind of wait. Okay, front side. Okay, outside. Okay, cut it back. And then bam, go ahead and go get it. Same with some of the gap scheme stuff. Your counters, your powers, when you're waiting on a puller to come around, you got to know as soon as that puller hits and you need to get north and south, it's time to go. You cannot delay. And he kind of has that in him. So it's one of the things I really liked about his game. I think he's got a chance to be a good get for Carolina. 198 carries, 1,109 yards, 8 touchdowns, 5'11", 200. He's got the build for it. I think he's if he can tweak a couple of those minor flaws that we saw on film, he could be a really good back for the Gamecocks. Finally, the number one get that I would say at the running back position into the SEC this year would be Ahmad Hardy, ULM, coming to Mizzou. And we had Bryant Vincent, his head coach at ULM, on McElroy and Kubelik in the morning during the season, and he raved about this young man. Just how he came in as a freshman. No moment was too big for him. Wasn't afraid to work. Wasn't afraid to share the load. Didn't expect to start right away. And he was he's a bigger time recruit, I think, than they were used to getting. And he came in and just made it happen. 237 carries, 1,351 yards, 13 touchdowns. ULM running back Ahmad Hardy. First thing I love about him is he's been playing in the stretch zone play. You'll see he sees penetration upfield, understands when to cut back, and then can get that thing all the way back outside. There's a lot of feel that comes with that, a lot of understanding of just what the outside zone stretch play is to get in and out and around blocks like that and still come up with positive yards, to understand that play can really just kind of go at different levels all the way out to the sideline, or hit right there in between the center or guard, or maybe even all the way backside off the backside tackle. Just got a really good feel for it because he's played in it and he understands it. Very smooth and getting in and around blocks. And also just a young man that when he get north and south, he understands it. He sees penetration upfield again. And once again, you'll see just kind of put that one foot in the ground, get north and south, able to understand there's a defender coming unblocked, make the one cut, get past him, more moving in the open field, able to get past that third level defender again, and shows a good burst as well when he gets into the open field. I don't think he's a game breaker as far as his speed, but does have enough to be able to get away from a DB and get you some touchdowns from distance. We'll see one more from Hardy as once again, I told you that thing can cut back in between the center and guard. Penetration from the linebacker makes that one cut north and south, and then bam, he's going to be able to get home. Just an excellent job of understanding where all these plays can hit. You see the elusiveness in the open field to be able to make people miss second, third level, and an understanding that this play literally is sideline to sideline. It's not one that you go out there and say, okay, it has to hit right here. And it takes a long time to be able to see that, feel that, understand that. You can't just – remember when Tank Bigsby tried to go at Auburn and all of a sudden run the stretch play, and he was just running full speed all the way outside the tackle. Well, that play hasn't developed yet. That play's not set up. Ahmad Hardy's not going to have that issue when he rolls into Columbia, Missouri, because he has a feel for what these plays are like. He's run these plays. He's seen every block. He's seen every stretch. He's seen every penetration come from different levels, the defensive line, backside, front side. He just knows how to work it. He knows how to manage it. And I think you got a guy that's going to fit right in and be able to come in and be productive right away. The key to all of this, though, a little bit similar to what we talked about with Dante Dowdell at Nebraska, or kind of what we talked about the need of Drin Washington at Alabama, or Fluff Bothwell from a formation and actual play call perspective, things being similar. Ahmad Hardy's run outside zone. He's run the stretch play. And you don't just get to that by running something else and then all of a sudden say, oh, yeah, we're going to figure that out. As I mentioned, like with Tank Bigsby. I mean, I can tell you with some of our backs at Auburn when Noel Mazzoni came in and we went to the stretch zone, it doesn't just happen overnight. There's a feel to it. And it's one of the reasons that early on, we had a bunch of quicker, lighter backs, and then all of a sudden somebody gets dinged up and Heath Evans comes in a blowout, and he was just a little bit slower and took his time a little bit much. So that thing developed a little more, and then he put one foot in the ground, go north and south, and it started to go. Ahmad Hardy already has the feel for that, yet he's got durability. He can bounce off tackles at 5'10", 205. You saw the speed that he's able to get away from guys from. And I think the key to it is you have to have the patience in the field, but you also got to know when to go. And he sees that penetration quickly and makes a quick decision. However, the other thing about the zone scheme is your decisions don't always need to be definitive. And that's why I wanted to pull that one stretch play where you see the penetration and he cuts back inside. There's an unblocked defender and he goes back to the outside and he's able to turn that into a good run. You have to know that that flow never stops. The variables in a zone play are never over. That thing can go outside the front side tackle and you can finish on the opposite sideline. That's the beauty of getting guys going east and west and making a miss. So I just think he's got good breakaway speed. It's not the best. I think he's got good durability. He's not the strongest, but he's not afraid to try to run somebody over. And he's got a great feel for what he does. And that's what he's going to be doing at Missouri because Kirby Moore's already got it in. Drink's been running it forever, and he gets it. It's a very similar scheme to what Bryant Vincent runs. He'll go 12, 2 personnel, 1 back. It's my favorite play in football. 2 tight ends, single back, run the stretch because it sets up everything. And Missouri's going to run the shit out of it. So they're going to have it, and they're going to run it a ton, and this young man's got a chance to thrive at it. I do think he could finish a little bit better at times. There are plays in which I think he's kind of touched or there's penetration in the backfield, and maybe some of this is just saving the gas and kind of living the fight another day. But he kind of just decides, all right, that's going to be it. And I don't think it's because he's not willing to fight or not willing to go get contact. I just think his brain's probably telling him this play's dead. Like, we'll shut it down, we'll come back, and we'll live for the next one. So those would be my 5 best gets at running back into the SEC right now out of the transfer portal. All right, guys, don't forget about Blue Delta jeans, the most comfortable denim that you will ever wear. I have multiple pair, and it's pretty much all that I wear now. If I'm going out to a nice dinner, nice meal, if I have a speaking engagement, it's going to be Blue Delta jeans. If I'm just going out to grab something quick to eat with the wife and kids, it's going to be Blue Deltas. And I can even do it in the spring and summer and not sweat my rear end off because they're breathable, they're stretchy, and they're cut just for me. It's not going to look like I'm wearing bell bottoms. It's not going to look like the waist is 2 sizes too big because they were cut just for me. Blue Delta denim is the best denim on the market, and they're made just for you. How much better could it be? They cut these things for you. They can do it digitally. Go by the shop right there in Oxford. Check them out. Tell me you heard about them right here on Cube Show. You can even do gift cards if you want. If you're looking to gift this to someone else with some holidays coming up or maybe birthday for someone in your family, Blue Delta Jeans, go to bluedeltajeans.com. There were a few others that were in the mix that we took a look at that are coming into the SEC. I think there's a solid group of guys coming in that we didn't mention also. Kawan Lacey from Missouri to Ole Miss. I haven't seen a lot. I can't give you a ton on him. Don't know exactly what it's going to look like. I've watched Darrell Robinson at UConn, 6'1", 200, upright runner, more of a north-south runner. So I do think that in some of the quick game where it's an RPO and you either got to go or they're going to pull it out and throw it. Like, he has that ability to take advantage if the backers are playing back and go north and south in a hurry. Bit of a slasher, kind of 1 foot in the ground, go north and south, not a make you miss guy, but's got good speed in the open field and can help you out. Jordan Simmons going from Akron to Ole Miss. I think somebody that is shifty, that does have the ability where Ole Miss is going to get him in the open field with not just the run plays, but what they do to the air, has a chance to be a really good player and come in and help the Ole Miss program at running back. We've seen a lot of different guys thrive and do different things there. Star Thomas at Duke, somebody who probably plays a little bit past his overall ability. I mean, he's just a tough runner. He's a physical runner. You can tell he's not the fastest guy on the field. He's not the strongest guy on the field, but he's going to fight you and he's going to fight for yards, and he has a good understanding of what they're asking him to do. Somebody who you kind of watch on film and you're like, yeah, I would take that dude. Like I would like to play with him just because he kind of does things the right way. Speaking of physicality, like Mike Washington Jr. from New Mexico State, he was a fun watch. First off, New Mexico State's running like 3 back, 2 back, 1 back. Like they run everything. It's a really cool offense to watch. But this young man is 6'1", 6'2", 215. You see him standing next to the quarterback, and it looks like the tight end is standing next to the quarterback. And he's got a little more juice than I think people give him credit for. Like he can get to the corner and get north and south. You're just not getting a lot of wiggle with him. But think about some of the backs that Bobby Petrino and that Arkansas have had over time. It's kind of been that get downhill and go kind of a runner. Mike Washington Jr. can be that guy. He also is not going to have to be the only ball carrier. So I think you sort of, with what Arkansas has always been and what they want to be and what the backs are going to be given the opportunity to do with Petrino running some of the zone scheme, the heavy play action stuff, like you're going to need a physical back to get some of that going anyway and then throw off of it. Mike Washington Jr. can be that guy and somebody that helps them out there. So just a couple other backs that we looked at that we saw that I think are going to be helpful this year. I think it's a really good crop of backs coming into the SEC. I think you'll see a lot of transfers have a lot of success because they have the experience. They have the experience in systems that really do mirror what they're going to be asked to do. And then they're just talented guys. They're guys that understand how to go play football and have been productive playing football. And don't forget about our friends at Roback either. They got me this hoodie for the tournament. We're ready for the tournament. Obviously, Auburn, the number 1 overall seed. Your promo code for 20% off is Cole20 at Roback. We love our friends at Roback, so always take care of them. Take care of Wickles Pickles. Take care of Blue Delta Jeans. All of our sponsors, we appreciate them. We appreciate you. Please throw us in the comments what you want us to get to here in the off season. I don't care what Josh says. There's an off season. Actually, not for me because I start UFL next weekend after we go to spring break. So we will be back next week, and we'll continue more off-season chatter around the SEC and college football. Please subscribe if you want. We're on iTunes and Spotify as well. But don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube. We're back next week.